Hey Boyd, how you doing? So, we are rounding in now to day 7. So, a week, been here solidly a week now, and for the most part doing about 2 a day, give or take, so, alright. Okay, so, this one I dipped into my Asian horror stockpile and pulled out one that I remembered liking. I've seen a handful of times, and decided to give it another watch. Now, this one, to my knowledge, has never been remade. So, it was good to see something that is a little less talked about. And that is Arang, a Korean film that's, the actual one of the blurbs on it actually kind of makes sense. CSI meets The Grudge. I can kind of see that. This one does feel very in the vein of, like, The Ring or, well, The Grudge. Any of those, or Shudder. Shudder's another one that it was very reminiscent of. So a lot of that sort of film. Okay, so this one we start off with a mysterious death. That death is of a man who seems to have burned to death in his then place, but mysteriously he seemed to have been suffocated rather than died from the burns. And, well, a lot about his case doesn't make sense. He's a penniless ex-con, yet this is a very nice apartment. So, who is he? Why is he there? Well, we mostly are following the cop, So Young, who's along with her new partner, are kind of investigating this as well as a few other deaths, which all seem to be connected to this one case. We find a second body with the same sort of death, except for this one wasn't burned, this one just suffocated. However, you find out that, there's a connection between these two. And now a few other people are turning up dead under very similar mysterious circumstances. Well, we're seeing them having a ghostly encounter just before they are dying, so a ghost woman and a ghost child simultaneously are, well, going after these folk. So, a little bit of grudge mixed in there. Wow. That's pretty much tracking down the leads, particularly a mysterious website that it seems to appear on each of their computers, talking about, Ming Yong, I think was her name? I'm not seeing. Maybe So Young was not the. Well, that's actually the name that pops up in here for So Young. Ah. Anyway, I think it was Mingjong. I just watched this yesterday and I'm already forgetting the names, which is a shame. Anyway, Mingjong Salt Village, and seems to have a whole website about this one girl, and now how is she connected in with all of this? Well, she apparently was dating the guy who the ex-con was convicted of killing, so something's going on there. So, is it ghostly revenge? Is it something else? Well, both? Maybe? I will say this one can be viewed in kind of two different ways. It's kind of, for the most part, unclear if how much of it is actually a ghost and how much of it is someone making it look like a ghost. How much of it is hallucination, how much of it is actual spirit. The case could be made for either up until the very end. So, it's actually kind of fascinating to try to figure out what is actually going on. Is this a haunting? Who's involved? What's the cover-up? What's going on? Very procedural. The ghost scenes are a little bit short and perhaps a little too CG heavy, but not constantly. And when the ghost face makeup is pretty effective on both the woman and the child. So there's a lot of what's going on, And it does actually pull together pretty well, actually, to be coherent into what's going on. And the subplot of our of our lead trying to track down the man who assaulted her is also addressed in a satisfying way that doesn't feel like it's overrunning the main haunting plot. So Arang, it's nothing you haven't seen before, but it does have a few twists along the way that does make it feel at least like you want to see where it's going with all this. So I did enjoy it. It's not like top tier by any means, but upon repeat viewings, it is still holding up pretty well for me. Now they've mentioned like, unfortunately, it does pop up with something called. It doesn't tell us why it's called Arang at all. I know there's like a famous Korean like story or called Arang and the Magistrate, which involves a ghost girl and well a magistrate. To my knowledge, this doesn't have anything with it. One of the last scenes it pops up is something saying the Legend of Arang, but unfortunately my copy here does not translate it. It just tells you the title, but does not actually give you what the Legend of Arang is. Arang. My Korean's not good enough to know how I should be pronouncing that. So I apologize if I've been mispronouncing the title of this film. This one came out circa 2006, I believe, from what I was seeing. Yeah, 2006. So, it's worth a look. It does have a lot of elements from a lot of sources. You can see hints of The Grudge, hints of Shudder, hints of, so you got the parent-child thing from The Grudge. You've got the assault aspect then from Shudder. You've got the creepy music coming from the website. I think is very reminiscent of One Missed Call, particularly like the elements for One Missed Call Final. You got the investigation a la The Ring. So, yeah, a lot of this feels familiar, but you take a lot of the best elements from a bunch of horrors, put it in a blender, hit spin, and come up with something still new with a twist or two. It works. It works. Well, it's not breaking any crazy new ground. It's going through with what works, and it's still satisfying. For me, Arang is going to be 6 MacGuffins. I do recommend taking a look if you haven't seen. It's worthwhile. Alright. I think that's all for this one. See you soon, boy.